Welcome back to Karma's Harvest. Today we explore the story of a man who fought a bitter legal battle to claim $1 million view, only to discover that some things are meant to stay hidden for a reason. This is the story of Arthur Vance and the tree that held his world together. Perched high atop the rolling hills of Crestview Estate, Arthur Vance believed he had finally reached the pinnacle of success. His modern glass-walled mansion was a testament to his career as a ruthless corporate lawyer. To Arthur, everything had a price, and everything was an asset to be managed. But there was one flaw in his perfect world, a massive, ancient white oak tree that sat on the property line of his neighbor, an elderly man named Mr. Henderson. The tree was magnificent, with sprawling branches that had shaded the hillside for over 80 years. But to Arthur, it wasn't a marvel of nature, it was a nuisance. It blocked the direct line of sight from his master bedroom to the valley below. It robbed him, as he put it, of at least $200,000 in property value. Arthur approached Mr. Henderson with a checkbook in hand. "Name your price," Arthur had said, his voice dripping with the confidence of a man who had never been told no. Mr. Henderson, a retired geologist who spent his days gardening, simply shook his head. "That tree isn't for sale, Mr. Vance. It's not just about the shade or the beauty. That oak is the anchor of this slope. Its roots go deeper than you can imagine." Arthur laughed it off. He didn't believe in anchors or sentimental ecology. He believed in deeds, titles, and visual aesthetics. When Mr. Henderson refused to budge, Arthur did what he did best: he declared war. For the next year, Arthur used every legal maneuver in the book. He filed injunctions, cited local ordinances about view obstructions, and hired expensive expert arborists who testified that the tree was a potential hazard to the public. He buried Mr. Henderson in legal fees, knowing the old man couldn't keep up. In the end, Arthur's influence and money won out. The court ordered the removal of the tree, citing a technicality in the original land survey from the 1950s. On the day the tree surgeons arrived, Arthur stood on his balcony with a glass of expensive scotch, watching as the chainsaws roared to life. As the giant oak fell, Mr. Henderson stood on his porch watching in silence. He didn't look angry, he looked mournful. He looked at Arthur one last time and whispered, "You've won your view, Arthur. I hope you enjoy it while it lasts." For the first few weeks, Arthur was ecstatic. Every morning he woke up to a panoramic, unobstructed view of the valley. He felt like a king. He even scheduled a massive housewarming party to show off his improved estate. But nature has a way of balancing the scales that no courtroom can overrule. 2 weeks later, the region was hit by a record-breaking seasonal storm. The rain was relentless, pouring inches of water onto the thirsty hillside every hour. Without the massive root system of the oak tree to drink up the groundwater and bind the soil together, the earth began to soften. Deep beneath the surface, a 100-year-old stone retaining wall which the tree had been supporting and reinforcing with its roots for decades began to groan under the weight of the saturated mud. In the middle of the night, a sound like a crack of thunder echoed through the canyon. It wasn't lightning. It was the sound of the hillside giving up. Arthur was jolted awake by a rhythmic vibration. He looked out his floor-to-ceiling windows, expecting to see the valley. Instead, he saw the ground beneath his infinity pool beginning to yawn open. The very view he had fought for was now a dark, swirling abyss. With a sickening roar, the retaining wall collapsed. Without the anchor, Mr. Henderson had warned him about, the entire front slope of Arthur's property turned into a river of liquid earth. The foundation of his multi-million-dollar mansion, once so solid, snapped like a dry twig. Arthur barely made it out the back door as the front half of his house, the part with the glass walls and the perfect view, slid violently down the hill, crumbling into a pile of steel and designer furniture at the bottom of the ravine. The next morning, the rain had stopped. Arthur stood in the mud, staring at the empty space where his dream home once stood. He looked over at Mr. Henderson's property. The old man's modest cottage was perfectly intact, sitting safely on the part of the ridge that hadn't moved. There, in the center of the scar on the earth, was the stump of the great white oak. It was still firmly rooted, though the tree itself was gone. It had been the only thing holding the mountain back. Arthur had sued the very thing that was protecting him. He had his view now. There was nothing left to block it. No walls, no windows, and no home. Just a vast empty silence. Karma doesn't always strike with a fist. Sometimes it simply steps aside and lets you have exactly what you asked for. Thank you for watching Karma's Harvest. If this story touched you, remember to cherish the roots that hold your life together. Until next time, stay humble and stay wise.